So Canada, we know, is going to increase spending by approximately $53 billion over 5 years, while posting a projected almost $40 billion deficit for the 2024-2025 fiscal year. The newly unveiled federal budget introduces a host of new expenditures, including $8.5 billion to build affordable housing, an extra $8.1 billion for the defense budget, and $6.1 billion for the new Canada Disability Benefit, as well as an increase to the taxable portion of capital gains for wealthy Canadians and corporations. So with us this morning is Canada's Finance Minister and Deputy Prime Minister, Chrystia Freeland. Great to have you back with us. I think, Minister, I appreciate you making this one of your first stops this morning. People have had the evening.
It's my first stop this morning, Anne-Marie.
It is. Well, I'm so glad that you're joining us here first. Good morning. You know, I think people have had a chance over the evening to sort of digest these numbers and over their coffee and eggs this morning. They're trying to figure out how this budget affects them. And that's where I'd like to start. A lot of the items the government is going to spend on are portioned out over multi-year plans. But Canadians are facing their affordability crisis right now. So for anyone who is struggling to buy groceries, pay rent, how does this budget make their life any more affordable today?
Thanks for the question, Anne-Marie. And this budget absolutely is going to make people's lives better right now. It is a budget focused on housing, getting more homes built faster, and making homes more affordable for people who already have a home or have a place to rent. It is focused on affordability and making things that little bit easier for people who are really challenged right now. And it is focused on economic growth. And in doing all of these things, we have really focused on young Canadians, on millennials and Generation Z, because we know that for them, it's really, really hard right now. And it's hard to establish themselves. It's hard to unlock the promise of Canada. So that's been our focus. To give you a couple of concrete examples, when it comes to housing, one of the things we've done that is going to be especially helpful for young people is we have extended to 30 years the amortization of mortgages. If you want to buy a place, that is specifically for buying a new build. That's going to make a mortgage more affordable for a young family. And also it's going to create an extra incentive for people to build those new homes, which we urgently need. So that's one specific. On affordability, something that is really important to me, and I'm sure really resonates with you and with a lot of your viewers, is the National School Food Program. This is now going to reach an additional 400,000 children across the country. Those are kids who are going to be able to have a healthy snack. We're going to have some food in their tummies. I've talked to so many teachers who have said how heartbreaking it is for them when there they are teaching a class, maybe a class of elementary school kids, and there's a couple of kids in the class who are just too hungry to concentrate. This program is going to help change that. Dental care rolling out already. It's going to cover 9 million Canadians. That's going to help either people who don't have the money right now to get their teeth taken care of, or who are spending money out of their own pocket they can't afford. I'm really excited about pharmacare. For someone with diabetes, this plan is going to make a difference right away. Free contraceptives, so important. I think important for all women, but maybe especially for younger women. And another thing that really struck me was talking to some doctors, talking to gynecologists, and they said that, in Canada, one doctor said to me she sees in her practice every month a young woman, a teenager who is pregnant, doesn't want to be, and the only reason is she couldn't afford a contraceptive. She doesn't have money of her own. For whatever reason, didn't want to ask her parents for money. How terrible and heartbreaking to have an unwanted pregnancy for that reason. This budget is going to fix that. And I don't want to overlook the investments in the economic capacity of Canada. That is really important too. There's a lot in there that we're doing, but maybe the thing I'll single out is AI. I think we all recognize that in the same way that computers transformed the economy in the 20th century. AI is going to do that in the decades to come. And the great news is Canada has a fighting chance to be a real player. Yeah. We're one of the leading countries in the world when it comes to like brilliant AI researchers. Actually, the best people, the people who invented it, are Canadian. Now let's get those AI companies here. Let's help Canadian companies adopt AI, and this budget invests in that.
I want to talk about the category of people that you mentioned off the top of your answer, which was Gen Z and millennials, which is anybody sort of 43 and younger. You know, you talk about wanting to break down barriers specifically for those people to enter the middle class, but I don't know that people 43 and under even know what the picture of middle class looks like anymore. It used to be detached home or a townhouse and a yard. You move out of your condo, you move into that. Home ownership was a real hallmark of the middle class. Now it feels like, you know, middle class is $2,500 rent and some groceries. So what is this middle class picture that you were trying to paint for this generation of Canadians? Because it looks very different than it did 15, 20 years ago when you and I were setting up our homes and our families.
Well, look, Anne-Marie, it is for sure not my job to tell people how they should live and, you know, what kind of a home they should aspire to,
but
what
you did
kind
say
of a life, what
you
kind
wanted
of life
to make
they
it
should
better
want.
for them.
But 100%.
And reach their potential.
100%.
So what are they aiming for?
And, well, what I think we as a country need to aim for is that those younger Canadians can believe, can know that if you study hard, you get a degree, you get a qualification. I met some young carpenters last week who told me that in 7 weeks of study, and you don't even have to pay for it, you can begin working as a first-year apprentice and start making 26 or 27 bucks an hour. And they were all saying to me, that's a good start in life. So, you know, start getting a skill, go to college, go to university, start becoming a skilled tradesperson, then get a job, work really hard. And if you are doing those things, then we must give you the opportunity to have a secure, safe, prosperous life. That's right. What we need to do. I think home ownership is a big part of that.
Yeah.
And I actually really not just believe, but I have the data to show that young Canadians, not all of them, of course, some people are very happy renting, living in a co-op, lots of different ways to live. But there are a lot of young Canadians who aspire to own their own home.
Yeah.
We set up and started allowing people to use in April of last year the first home savings account. You can only use it to buy your first home. So by definition, this is people who don't have a home yet. Yeah. They're saving to buy one. 750,000 Canadians have put money in their accounts. To me, nothing speaks more strongly of commitment and hope for the future than people doing that. And we're making it easier for them. One thing that I have had a lot of positive feedback from exactly that group of young Canadians is a change we've made so that you can use your regular monthly rent payments to count towards your credit score. And that has a real practical impact because what it means is it's going to be easier for young people to qualify for a mortgage and maybe to qualify at a lower rate. Final thing I want to say that maybe got a little bit lost in the news of the budget yesterday. We had really, really good news on inflation for all Canadians, for young people, but for everyone. Yesterday, we got the inflation numbers for March. They came in at 2.9%. Yeah. That means for 3 months in a row, inflation has been within the Bank of Canada's target range. That means that we are moving towards a place where conditions are going to exist such that it will be possible for the Bank of Canada to lower interest rates. That is also going to make it easier for young Canadians to get those first set of keys. And that's one reason it was so important for me to present a budget that made the necessary investments in young Canadians, but did it while meeting our fiscal guideposts, while retaining Canada's fiscally responsible approach, the most responsible in the G7. That is part of getting inflation to stabilize, making it possible to get rates down, which is so important for everybody.
Minister, I want to get this last question in because it's a really important one, I know, to a lot of viewers and a lot of Canadians. The budget lays out $6.1 billion over 6 years for the Canada Disability Benefit. This is to help low-income Canadians with disabilities. It was recommended in pre-budget consultation that that benefit provide no less than $1,000 a month. Your budget caps it at $2,400 a year. That's just $200 a month. That's a fifth of what was recommended. It seems like maybe we didn't pull enough levers and gears here. What do you say to Canadians who are counting on the other 4/5 who cannot work because of a disability? And I know because of the interviews we've done on this show, this particular group of Canadians was hit very hard during the pandemic. There is less available to them now. They needed that money. They're not going to get it.
Anne-Marie, I'm really, really glad that you're highlighting the Canada Disability Benefit. And I think it's worth stepping back and pointing out this is the first time in Canada's history that the federal government has stepped up to provide any disability benefit at all. The very first time. And you are right. Those stories are heartbreaking. And people living with disability in Canada deserve support. Of course, we want to and we aspire to do more. And by the way, I want to and aspire to do more in so many different areas. I would love to be investing so much more in early learning and childcare. I hear from so many people how great it is that fees have come down, but we need even more places. When people ask me about that, I say, yeah, I agree with you. And we're going to keep on going. We're going to keep on building. This Canada Disability Benefit is a really important first step for people who need and deserve support from the federal government. They have never had it before in Canadian history. I am glad that we're able to do this now. You are completely right that we need to aspire to do more as a country, and we will.
All right, Minister Freeland, great to have you here. Thanks for making this your first stop this morning. Good to have you on the day after Budget Day.
Yeah, really good to be with you too.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked this, be sure to subscribe here, or you can check out more Your Morning videos right here.